You may have heard of the narrative that Zionists often say where they mention the fact that European Jews are tightly connected with Middle Eastern Jews and they originate from the same place. Thus, European Jews have a right to come to Palestine, ethnically cleanse people, genocide people, and put the Palestinian population under an apartheid system. The hypothesis and what their narrative suggests is that the Arab people are the colonizers in the scenario because they're Arab. This completely flies in the face of, for example, that Arabs are not some monolithic ethnic group. They're a very diverse set of people with different origins. So painting them as a monolithic group that originated from one place is not only completely goes against the face of science, but it is also racist because it can then imply that all Arabs are this way or that way, thus allowing the colonizers in the scenario to belittle them, be racist towards them, and further justify oppressing them. However, I also want to go against the narrative that all Jews stem from this one place in the Middle East, which is Judea, and therefore they have a right to come back to their so-called homeland. Because I have a study here that analyzed European Jewish DNA and found actually rather the opposite. Early historians bridged the historical gap simply by linking modern Jews directly to the ancient Judeans, a paradigm that was later embedded in medical science and crystallized as a narrative. Many have challenged this narrative, mainly by showing that a sole Judean ancestry cannot account for the vast population of Eastern European Jews in the beginning of the 20th century without the major contribution of Judea's Khazars, and by demonstrating that it is in conflict with anthropological, historical, and genetic evidence. What this basically means is that if we really are accepting the theory that all Jews stem from Judea, then it cannot explain the large amount of population of Jews in Eastern Europe in the beginning of the 20th century without at least having some sort of conversion taking place. By contrast, the Rhineland hypothesis, and by the way, the Rhineland hypothesis is basically the hypothesis and the theory that all Jews stem from the Middle East, from Judea. So that is the theory that this study is refuting. By contrast, the Rhineland hypothesis could not explain the large Caucasus component in European Jews, which is rare in non-Caucasus population, and the large IBD regions. IBD regions, this means a shared origin. The large IBD regions shared between European Jews and Caucasus population, attesting to their common and recent origins. Our findings thus reject the Rhineland hypothesis and uphold the thesis that Eastern European Jews are Judeo-Khazars in origin. So what does this mean? Their findings basically found the theory and the hypothesis that Jews stem from Judea and have thus then spread around the world, staying largely homogeneous, is wrong. It flies against the face of genetical evidence. And what they did find was that a large amount of European Jews actually have Caucasus DNA. Caucasus being the European, or you can just call it the white DNA if you want to be a bit unscientific. So European Jews have a large amount of Caucasus DNA, and they found that a lot of their DNA heritage actually they found a lot of their heritage linkage in Khazar. And Khazar is nowhere in the Middle East.